Hi and welcome to BooksBeautyKendra. My name is Kendra and today I wanted to do retellings of different stories. These are both books I've read, books that are on my TBR. They're retellings of fairy tales, classic stories, mythology, and just like other stories. Let's get started straight away, no delay, with the fairy tales. I've got the first one. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, I think. This is Mountains Made of Glass by Scarlett St. Clair. I have not read this one, but it's just a short little book. And yeah, it sounds like it's, oh, there's a picture. Sounds like it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling because she gets banished to live with the seventh brother, the one they call the Beast. I don't know anything about this. That's that one. Next, I've got another. That one's adult, by the way. Romantasy, I think. The next one is a YA fantasy that I listened to a while ago, and I really loved the audiobook. That's why I've kept it. And that is Hunted by Megan Spooner. This, like I said, is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's dual POV, but like the Beast's one's like, I think that might be the longest Beast chapter, and then the rest are all beauties. Or what is Yeva, but he calls her Beauty because I think the father called her Beauty. Anyways, she gets taken by the Beast in exchange for her father. You know, Beauty and the Beast story. Next, I've got Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I went to look this up because it said it was a retelling, and I've read this. I have not read the originals, but apparently it's like a mix between The Wild Swans by Hans Christian Andersen and The Six Swans by the Grimm brothers, or Brothers Grimm, however you say it, just with like East Asian like things in there. And this follows Princess Shiori as she has to save her brothers from being transformed into cranes because her evil stepmother has made them that way, and she can't speak. I think she starts the story off with a bucket on her head. Not the start, but like once she gets cursed, once her brothers get cursed, she gets a bucket on her head. She can't speak of what's happened. It's a good time. This is a YA fantasy, a little bit of romance thrown in, but that's about it. And then this one's going to be hard to pick up because there's 4 of them. And then to round out the fairy tales, oh, I should sit up properly, Kendra. Round out the fairy tales, I've got The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. Ooh, these 4 beauties. I've got Cinder, which is a Cinderella retelling. I've got Scarlet next. Yes, Scarlet, which is a Red Riding Hood retelling. I've got Cress, which is a Rapunzel retelling. And I've got Winter, which is a Snow White retelling. You don't see many of those. But yeah, it's Snow White. It's got some scratches on it because I did that myself and I'm so stupid. But yeah, it's a YA sci-fi series, and it follows these 4 characters, mainly Cinder from the first book because she's like in all of them, but they slowly add on people on their quest to take down the Lunar Queen before she takes over Earth. Yeah, it's a good time. I still need to read Winter. Shame on me, but yeah, I want to read it. It intimidates me because I've also got the paperback, but this book is, what, 823 pages. One day I will get there. Okay, next I've got books. We'll do that one next, after this one. Next we'll do books based on mythology. No, that's why I put that here, because it's connected to a different one. Okay, sorry, mind is not working properly, or brain is not working properly. Brain, as you can tell. Next is The Traitor's Blade by Sebastian, or just Traitor's Blade, sorry, by Sebastian de Castell. I was like, I read the first chapter, and I was like, this seems familiar. What is it? It's the Three Musketeers retelling. I have not read the Three Musketeers. Oh, I've read about half of it, and then I was like, this is a very long book, but I'm enjoying it, and I just want to put it down for now, and I never picked it back up, but I will, so it's on my classic shelf just down here. Anyways, Three Musketeers retelling. This is a adult fantasy novel about the king dying, and then the soldiers who were tasked with protecting the king have been blamed, and they have to go on the run. I think the series is called The Greatcoats. Yeah, Greatcoats book 1. It was good for the chapter I read. I just haven't continued on yet. Next, I've got 2 by Jennifer Yen. I've got A Taste for Love and Love Decoded. These are technically on Goodreads standalones, but really, if you want to read both of them, I would say read A Taste for Love before Love Decoded, because this one follows the older brother, this one follows the younger brother, the younger sister. A Taste for Love is a Pride and Prejudice retelling with Liza Yang and what's the guy's name? James something, I don't know. Anyways, there's a baking competition in this. Her mum wants her to be a judge for it. She's a good baker, but that's not why her mum wants her to be a judge for it. Her mum wants to be a judge for it because she wants her to find a boyfriend, a potential husband. But she's like in her late teens, so like that'll be a little while off. But for now, a boyfriend, because yeah. Because I think at that point all her boyfriends had been not Asian or not East Asian. The mum wants her to, is there like a specific East Asian nationality she wants the boyfriend to be? The best type of Asian to date is Taiwanese, then Chinese. There are no others. But it's a really good book. I love Pride and Prejudice. I love this book. I think I gave it 5 stars. It's a great read if you like YA contemporary romance. Then I've got Love Decoded. This is an Emma retelling. It follows James's younger sister. What's her name? Gigi. Of course it's Gigi. That's what her name is in there. And this one's less romance because like it's more focused. If you've read Emma or you've seen any of the Emma retellings or movies or whatever, there's like less of the Mr. Knightley character in this book than there are in like other books and in the book and in other retellings. So it's more on the contemporary side, but it's still good. Not as good as A Taste for Love in my opinion, but it's still good. But yeah, it's like friends to lovers, I think, from what I can remember. And it's really good. Well, it has to be because like BooksBeautyKendra. Next I've got the, what is this series called? The Why is the sisters I don't know. But it's Two Wrongs Make a Right and Better Hate Than Never by Chloe Leese. This one's a Much Ado About Nothing retelling. This one's a Taming of the Shrew retelling. Much Ado About Nothing is one of my favorite is my favorite Shakespeare play. I love any adaptations of it. That's the word I was looking for before. Adaptations and retellings of it. I love, just love. This one follows Jamie and B. B is neurodivergent, I think. I think she's got like ADHD or something. And I think Jamie is either anxious or has diabetes or both. I don't know. But they hit it off one night, but then something goes very badly and they stop really getting along with each other. They get quite antagonistic towards each other, and yeah, it's about them finding their way back because their friends are trying to get them to date, and so they're like, what if we just pretend to date? So there you go, fake dating in that one. It's a good fun time. This one follows Wilmot, I think, sisters. Wilmot, there we go, this one has it. Better Hate Than Never, Taming of the Shrew retelling. This follows Katerina and Christopher, or Kat and Chris. You see Kat very briefly in the first book. She kind of, Kate. You see Kate very briefly in the first book because she's off doing her photography stuff. But you see more of Chris, and Chris is one of the family friends, and they hate each other. So that one's an hate to love. Not enemies to lovers, I don't think it's that deep. But yeah. Next we'll move on to Mythology, which I've got like in two piles, because one is just like general mythology, well not general, but like not a specific type, and the other one is, I've got 3 books based on Hades and Persephone alone. I've got The House with Chicken Legs. This is a middle grade book. This is a Baba Yaga retelling. Baba Yaga is like Scandinavian witch who has a house with chicken legs, and it follows her granddaughter Marinka as Marinka tries to find her way in life, and well, as a child, but like figure out if she wants to become the next Baba Yaga or not, whether she has a choice in it, really. It's not that as depressing as that, I promise you. It's really a fun time. Next, I haven't read this one, but I've got the whole series because my friend was so kind and gave me the rest of the books. And it's Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is a King Midas retelling, you know, the guy who touches something and it turns into gold. She's Gold Touch, the main character. Oren? That's my brother. I think her name is Oren. And it follows her as she is gold touched, and it's been a while since I read the synopsis for this one, but she's like his most prized possession, because that's what she is. She's his possession, apparently, because people are that. And yeah, it's about her falling in love with someone, but like she's in love with him, but then he's like a real horrible person. So yeah, that's as far as I remember of that. Great retelling of that, Kendra. Then we've got The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. This is one of my favorite stories. It's just like Korean mythology about the sea god, and the sea god obviously lives under the sea, but he's been asleep for like 100 or 1,000 years. I can't remember. It must be 100 years, because Yeah, for generations, it just says. Mina goes and sacrifices herself instead of her brother's love, as in the girl that he loves, and she sacrifices herself, so she jumps out the boat and gets taken by the sea and goes down into the land of spirits, spirit land, I can't, it's one of those two. And it's very Studio Ghibli vibes. It's a great time. YA fantasy, bit of romance in there, as like all YA fantasy seems to do. But yeah, it's such a good book. If you like Studio Ghibli, this has got that atmosphere, and it's so good. I mean, if you don't like YA, don't pick it up. Don't ruin it for the rest of us, but like, when I liked YA, I still like YA on occasion, but when I was really into YA, that was a good book to read. Next, we've got the Hades and Persephone retellings. I've only read one of these. First one is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. Like we had the Mountains Made of Glass before, this is also by the same author. Hades and Persephone. But I think it's like a romantasy, but not as heavy on the fantasy. Yeah. It's still romantasy, I think. But this is like a long series. I think the last one came out last year. And it's like 2 series intertwined, and this one's from Persephone's point of view. The other one's from Hades' point of view. There's this one. Then we've got Neon Gods by Katie Robert. My cousin actually read this and was like, it's so not good. But then other people are like, oh, I love it. I didn't buy this myself. I got this as a blind date with a book from one of the Etsy sites. And this is what I got. And so I'm gonna try it. It says it's unspeakably hot. We'll see. Yeah, Hades and Persephone, if you don't know the story, by the way, is like Persephone dies, and which doesn't really in these books, I don't think, and she's taken to the underworld where Hades lives, and he makes a deal with, I can't remember if it's with her mom herself or like Zeus or something, that she'll live there for 6 months of the year. The other 6 months she can come back to the above ground, whatever that's called in mythology. Greek? Yeah, Greek mythology. And yeah, she's like not a very good spring goddess because she can't really make things grow. That she's the goddess of spring, by the way. Then I've got Lore Olympus. This is a graphic novel. It's like all blues and pinks, slightly purple. Some of the characters are like yellow, but like that's not the main color story. Check out the you can check it out on Webtoon for free, but like I don't like reading off the computer that much or at all. So I got the physical copies. I've got the first 3. I read the first 2. I should get on that with the 3rd one. But yeah, this one's just a graphic novel. It's like quite literally the gods and goddesses of Greek mythology. It's beautiful. There are content warnings because this one follows more closely from that. It's got physical and mental abuse, sexual trauma, and toxic relationships. So if any of those are triggers for you, either don't go in or go in carefully. The last 3 books are like retellings of not classic stories but more modern stories. Like I can't really, not like, one is fan fiction published into a real story. The other one is just like Anyways. Next two are Eva Evergreen, Semi-Magical Witch, and Eva Evergreen and the Cursed Witch. Yeah, by Julie Abe. This is a Kiki's Delivery Service retelling. So Eva Evergreen has a pinch of magic that she uses to save this town from the reckoning. This is middle grade, by the way. I love Julie Abe's writing. I've got like 3 of her books on my TBR that I still need to read. I've read 3. I've loved all of them. I think I gave all 3 of them 5 stars. There's these 2, and there's Our Charmed Love, or The Charms List. I'm mixing up her 2 titles. Our Cursed Love is the other one I haven't read. These 2 are, Kiki's Delivery Service. If you haven't seen the Kiki's Delivery Service movie or read the book, I would recommend watching the movie. The movie is a lot better than the book. The book is very short. You don't get to know people as well. But I loved the movie. The movie is amazing. So if you haven't seen it and you want to know what these are about, well, more so the first one, I would say definitely pick it up. And the final book that I want to talk about is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is a Raylo fanfic published into a real book. I think a few of her books are like that. I just know this one for a fact is that. Because, like, look at that. That's not Kylo Ren and that's not Rey. I don't know who is. But if you haven't seen the Star Wars universe, basically Kylo Ren is like Darth Vader's grandson. Yep. And then Rey is like one of the last Jedi. She finds out pretty early on in the movies. She finds out, so that's not much of a spoiler. It might be a spoiler, but if you haven't seen those movies yet, you really should. It's like 7, 8, and 9. Yeah, those ones. But this one is a STEMinist novel. So Olive is a PhD candidate. Yeah. So she's a 3rd-year PhD candidate. She's not really one for love, but one of her best friends wants to date someone she went out with a couple times, like once or twice, really, honestly. But the best friend's like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to make you feel awkward if we get together. So she finds the closest person to her and kisses them to prove that she's over this guy. She's never really into the guy. But she's over this guy that her friend thinks she's so in love with. And that guy so happens to be one of the professors who looks after some PhD candidates, not her, but some of them. And it's about them fake dating to, one, convince her friend that she's not into the guy that her friend wants to date. And for him, the fake dating is to show the university or college or whatever they call it that he's not a flight risk, because they're withholding his funds for research grants and such. And yeah, it's a fake dating relationship that turns into more. Anyways, those are all the different types of retellings from fairy tales, which bring out the inner child. If you knew stories from classics you may have read at school, stories from mythology that you've learned either at school or in your own time if you're a lover of mythology, and then just like, pop culture retellings. That's a good one. If you've made it, I don't have on this list the Akatar series, so A Court of Thorns and Roses, but that is like by Sarah J Maas. That is first a Beauty and the Beast retelling, then it goes into Hades and Persephone retelling. I don't have those ones. I've read the first 2 books. They were okay. Sorry. And then the Throne of Glass series, also by Sarah J Maas, is supposedly a Cinderella retelling. I don't know how. Supposedly it is. But yeah. If you made it this far into the video, leave me a recommendation, because I haven't read all of these books. I've read some of these books. Maybe about half? I don't remember. But, yes, leave me a retelling recommendation or a retelling you would like to see. So whether it be like something in mythology you want to see a book or a movie of, or a fairy tale you don't see much of in the media or in pop culture, let me know. Or you could leave me a bird emoji for 6 crimson cranes. Yeah. Okay. If you've made it this far into the video, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, all that jazz, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye!